Welcome to the Asphalt Kingdom Roundtable, where contractors, mentors, and our community come together to build, grow, and scale successful pavement businesses, celebrating wins, learning from challenges, and overcoming roadblocks together. Welcome, everyone. Looking forward to chatting things out today, chewing on the fat, as they say, and getting some gold nuggets pulled out of some of the people in here that have some amazing experience to share. I appreciate you all jumping on. If you can jump on a camera, that'd be amazing. See if you can do that. If you're unsafe, maybe driving or something, totally get it. Would love to see y'all face to face and in person. So some housekeeping. First things first, if you are looking to chat with anyone on any of the screens, anybody in this call here, obviously there is something called the chat button at the bottom of your window. Click on that. You can chat with the entire group, put in questions and so on in the chat window, as well as individually. Obviously, this is a community. We want to make sure that you guys have the ability to connect with each other and work out issues you guys might have. And second thing is the react button. That is for thumbs up. You know, I agree, showing some love, and also putting your hand up. So if you want to chat or chime in, please throw your hand up and we can get to you guys one by one. So we always start with something very positive, which is my favorite part of any of these roundtable calls here. It is called the wins of the week. And I'm sure we either have personal wins or business wins. So would love to hear about any of your guys' wins this week. Throw up your hand and we'll get it kicked off. Good to see you, Zach. Right on, right on. Anybody got a win for the week? All right, Mr. Nick Nelson.
Yeah, my win is had a great coaching conversation with Dylan McCann, and it was fantastic for me. We went about 30 minutes and went through some major questions that I had, and I'm looking forward to some possibilities coming up in some more extensive and in-depth coaching on November, December, January.
That is awesome. It's funny how coaching can really change your perspective on a lot of different things. I remember my first coach was actually a basketball coach, and then the second one was a volleyball coach. And both of those guys told me a lot of stuff about myself that I never saw from the outside, obviously. So that outward, guidance can really be something amazing in your business life as well, for sure. Great. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing, Nick. Mr. Villio. Matthew, what's up, brother?
Hey,
sorry about butchering your last name.
What's going on, everybody? So I had 2 wins. I landed a pretty good size driveway. Found out today. It's about, I'd say it's about 10,000 square feet. It's a shared driveway. On top of that, they want, some cutout asphalt for the front entrance and repave that area, which is really good as well. So we'll be taking care of that as well. And then I got a call today from franchise of Stewart's shops. So I've been handing out business cards to all the Jollies in Vermont and New York. So I guess all the Jollies have been bought by the Stewart's shops. So I'm hoping to get my foot in the door. I got a meeting with them tomorrow on the Alburg, Champlain, New York area, which is good. So I'm excited about that. So that's a good win for us, and yeah,
that's amazing, man. Congrats on that. The close. That's one of the things that drives your business. Obviously, we always say here at Asphalt Kingdom, it's money in that provides everything else going forward. It's really closing deals. So good job on that side of things, and good luck. I know you'll do a good job on your meeting tomorrow. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. Perfect. That's 2 good ones. Anybody else?
Matthias, I got one. Is this for wins?
Let's go. Michael, welcome, brother. Definitely for wins.
Sorry, I'm late. I had to go switch out trucks and trailer. Man, I got some huge wins here lately. So I've been doing the accelerated, the coaching with Asphalt Kingdom, and it's changed the whole dynamic of my business and how I look at hunting and going after work. I've gotten multiple property managers now that I've contacted, reached out to, had conversations with, just went and looked at two huge parking lots for them. They were so excited about what I can do for them that they said, hey, there's 5 more property managers right here in this building. Do you mind if I share your contact information with them? No, ma'am, go ahead. By the end of the day, I had another call wanting me to go look at an asphalt repair where they was going to be digging up a parking lot for a sewer line. So part of this win is just me understanding the systems and processes, learning the things that have been taught to me and coached to me. And when you get into the coaching, y'all, and if you ain't doing it now, I recommend anybody and everybody do it. And for me, it took a while because I was broke. You know what I mean? I couldn't afford it. So I just came here and ate everything I could. I was in that vault. And let me let you know this. If you ain't in the vault and you got access to the vault, it's hard to follow that yellow brick road. The vault is a lot of the groundwork for follow the dang process. And then the coaching gets stacked on that. So I'm just blown away and amazed. And you know what? I need somebody to hold me accountable. And Dylan, he does that because me on my own, I procrastinate. I get lazy when the work ain't here. I'll go kind of look, won't look, sit around and twiddle my thumbs. But now I'm learning how to stack my calendar. I'm learning I actually made a Google Calendar and I got it all. I'm getting stuff on there. I got times blocked off where I'm prospecting and I'm getting tasks that I need to do, and I'm getting held accountable on them. I got held accountable a couple weeks ago, y'all, and I was thinking, man, he just held me accountable. And I was like, you know what? That's good, because you know what? A good coach, they're gonna push you. They're not gonna say, oh, you did the least amount possible, great job. They're gonna say, okay, you might have did this good, but there's room for improvement. Let's grow. Let's get that traction. Let's hunt them whales. And that's my win for the week, that I know that it's going to be okay. And I'm just going to follow the dang process. Thanks for letting me share, y'all.
Mr. Winley, you are amazing, brother. That is awesome. You know, it's funny thinking about procrastination. I don't know if anybody else on the screen happens to be one of those, but man alive, I've had fights with myself like you wouldn't believe. And it's one of those things. Once you get a good direction, though, and somebody pushing you to do, follow, that holding accountable is one of the biggest things, because you just feel like, man, I don't want to be going back there with my empty book, empty calendar, nothing done. You wouldn't even show up. I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm going to procrastinate on this one too, and never show up my face for that. Once you put money on yourself, though, it's a different game. Good job.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. All right, we're doing wins. Anybody else got a win? Anybody? Come on. I know you guys got something out there. Come on, guys. Anybody got a win? Let's go, Skylar, Mr. Garmin.
What's up, guys? Yeah, so it was a good day today. We had a 46,000 square foot parking lot that we finally wrapped up paving today. A buddy of mine owned a local car dealership. He actually bought an existing dealership. It was a Ford dealership that he bought and tore it out. So he bought the building from him and kicked them out, and we paved his parking lot today. So it was just super cool. I was more excited to share the win with him of him building that building than us paving the parking lot, but super cool.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing. I actually have a win myself. So a week ago, I was looking at my taxes. It was like 1 + 2. I was doing the math, and I'm like, my guy messed up. He messed me up. I'm going to end up having to pay a tax on another 40 grand. was just choked. I'm just like, man, this is terrible. My win is I called him today and he told me I had enough deductions to go down by 40K. I was like, thank you. So I was just, wait until he told me I owed another 12 grand. I'm like, so that's my win for today. I'm going to take that for sure. Thank goodness you have an accountant to do your numbers for you, not rely on me to do it. That's for sure. Fantastic. So I did some planning today. Not today. I did some planning this last week in regards to today's meeting. And one of the things I wanted to do was open us up to a little bit of discussion between ourselves, not just discussions between ourselves, but more just sharing certain things about why we do our businesses. So one of the things I was looking at is, why does anybody do this business? Why do you do any business? Why do you do anything? Like, why do you go to work? Why do you do whatever? And it kind of queued me up to ask a few different questions of each one of you. So if crowd participation would definitely be encouraged. But my first question was, what is the core reason or purpose that drives you to do everything, the things you do every day? What's the core reason? So I'd love some hands up just to answer some of those questions. Just what is it that drives you? What's your core driver for doing and getting up every morning and doing what you got to do? Anybody? Yes, sir. Mr. Winley.
Yeah, I'll share a little bit about why I get up every day and do the things I do. Number one is because I had for a lot of years, I'm gonna be personal with y'all. For a lot of years in my life, man, I was a scoundrel. You know what I mean? Till I was 36 years old, and then I got saved, and my life changed. And since then, God's been changing old heart and heart. He took it out of my chest and he put in a new heart, and it's malleable and it pumps love, and I care for others. And in the mornings I get up, like Judd says, I kick the sheets off because I'm thankful for to be alive. When at one time, just years ago, I was a dead man walking. So nowadays, I'm just thankful and grateful for every breath and every day, and just want to live one day at a time.
That is fantastic. I love that one. That's amazing. Amazing. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anybody else got a reason why they do what they do every day? Cohen, let's go, brother.
I was just gonna say money, but he definitely got me beat there.
We need money to live too these days, obviously. So money's not a bad reason, for sure. For sure. Good one. Anybody else? What's the next one? Yes, Mr. Nick Nelson.
Right. I'm along with Michael, Mr. Windley. Appreciate that comment. For me, I've been an educator for almost 44 years, and I retired in 2018. And every day as an administrator, I faced multiple challenges in terms of personnel, money, curriculum, and et cetera. And when I retired, it was really hard to step back and not do anything. And I think I have some entrepreneurial blood in me. And so we started moving snow and helping people out. And then we branched into striping and crack filling. And now we got the Airboss 300, and we've got some jobs coming up in a couple of weeks and then in September. And so it's just, for me, it's fantastic to be challenged and continue to learn and not stop learning and growing from it. So that gets me up every morning.
I love that. Student of life, right? 100%. That's awesome. Fantastic. And you said a magic word there. It's entrepreneurial mindset or entrepreneurial spirit, whatever that is. I think all of us on this screen are exactly that. So that's amazing. Excellent. Matthew, please share.
Me, it's the accomplishment of taking something that looks horrible and making it pristine again, and seeing your finished product at the end. And then also, what we're all striving for is financial freedom, and able to either pass down our business to our kids, or or sell it and make some profit off of that when we're ready to retire. So that's what drives.
Excellent. That is awesome. That's awesome. So anybody else have a why you do what you do every day? Anybody else? Okay, I'll go to the next question here. My question would be, what made you decide to do this? What was the moment? What was it that really said, hey, I want to do this. I want to do asphalt maintenance. I want to do pavement asset management. I want to do paving. I want to do line striping, whatever it is that you're doing with your business. What made you change that day? What was it that said, I want to move. I want to change this? Yes, I got you, Matthew. Go for it, brother. You're the only guy with the hand up in the little corner.
So for me, it was my lower back. I have 5 bulge discs in my lower back. I was working like a dog for Huntington Homes, setting modular homes for them down in Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard. And, that was great and all, but it's a young man's game, a single young man's game, basically. So why I switched is because we had a gentleman show up to our house over in Saratoga, New York, and they wanted to seal coat our driveway, and I saw the process of how they did it and everything else, and they had an older tank, older truck, and they seal coated the driveway, collected $250 from us, and then they were headed on their way. And I told my fiance, I said, this is a no-brainer. I said, I can do that. That's simple. So then I started looking at stuff on YouTube, and I found Judd, and been following his process since then. So
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Thanks for sharing, Matthew. Mr. Winley.
Yeah, so I like the financial freedom, being able to take care of my family and leaving a legacy for others. Them are all great answers. For me, part of this was I was helping a buddy of mine. I had 3 part-time jobs, and I was helping a buddy of mine pressure wash, and he said, hey, I'm going to go do this hospital, and they're going to have some cracks. You want to try to look up a way to figure out how to fix these concrete cracks? So I started looking up stuff, and I seen Asphalt Kingdom on there. And it just kind of pulled me in. And I was a part-time driver at UPS back then too, and I'd be driving around Jackson and all over the place. And I was like, man, these parking lots are terrible. Potholes everywhere. They're all broken up. I'm from Florida. It's kind of touristy down there. They would condemn the parking lots down there compared to the way they are here. And I was just like, man, I want to figure out a way to try to incorporate this into what I've been watching. And I ended up going down to a roundup and in Florida. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. And I got working with a buddy of mine doing some part-time line striping, just helping him do the layouts. And then earlier this year, I laid all that down. And now I just do this full time. I still work for my buddy doing it. But it was just seeing the need. There is a need out here, and we can provide a solution for this without having to kill ourselves. I'm like, Matthew, I'm getting older, man. I'm having some, it's starting to wear and tear on my body. So I was just looking for a better way to financially take care of my family and help others. So that's why I got into it.
I love it. Thank you, Michael.
One other thing is when I started listening to AK, Asphalt Kingdom, the core values stuck to me. And I've seen y'all not only speak it, walk it, and live it. You know what I mean? Y'all live to help others. And y'all do that all the time. And that's the kind of partnership, and that's the kind of people's team I want to be on.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, brother. Mr. Smith. How you doing, Zach? Good to see you. I love that duster, man. That thing's
Doing
huge.
well. How are you?
It's good, man. Really good.
Yeah, so I started out just pressure washing and parking lot striping. I had no intention of ever getting into asphalt. And I was subbing out seal coating, pothole work, and was looking for pavers to partner with. And the first seal coat job I ever subbed out, we had several issues with. And these guys were the guys I was finding were the prototypical gypsies that the beat up trucks, the holes in the clothes, just the whole thing. And and the other problem I was having, I would call to get a quote, and I just couldn't get either A, someone to answer the phone, or B, show up. And I was like, you know what? After probably 6 to 8 months of it, I was like, I just need to be doing this myself. And so started doing it. It's been 1 full year of doing seal coat, pothole repair, and all that in house, and I'd say it's going well so far.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, Zach. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing, brother. Awesome. Anybody else got a reason why you decided to do this? So my next question is, anybody dealt with difficult time in this business, dealt with anything that came up? You're like, man, this is tough. And you kind of want to throw the towel in. You're like, is it worth it? Anybody dealt with that? Give me an example or two of one of the times where you felt like giving up or throwing your towel and just going, this is too much. Go for it, Matthew.
So a couple times I've had a couple issues with the hose, either whether it failed and it had a pinhole, or you didn't bleed out to your air out of the hose. And the most recent, dude, I almost lost it 2 weeks ago. I was coming back with sealer, 550 gallons in my dump truck, my enclosed trailer with my mower, because I do a little bit of landscaping for Tractor Supply as well. And my brakes on my dump truck in the rear seized. I didn't even know about it. And then they caught on fire. And people were driving past me, telling me to pull over. I didn't know what the hell was going on. The fucking truck was on fire. So I pulled over the side. My rear dually exploded of the tire in the back. So then I'm looking for a fire extinguisher. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher in your trucks, guys. I was looking for a fire extinguisher. I couldn't find one, so that I ran down the middle of the highway, flagging down a tractor trailer truck. Thankfully, he didn't run me over. Gave me his fire extinguisher. I slid underneath the dually wheel. I was able to put the fire out, but the whole inner tire of the rear dump truck was on fire, and I had there's two fuel tanks on that truck. So there's a 40 gallon and a 30 gallon in the front. So it was so close to, I was so close to losing everything. So
tell me, how did you overcome the issues? 2 times, you obviously done twice now, but what made you overcome that? What was the driving factor that made you say, okay, it is what it is, move forward? What was it that changed, made you move forward with this?
Just, I haven't fought this hard for something that I'm just ready to give up.
Yeah.
It's, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else have an experience where they're just like, I'm ready to throw the towel in and move forward? Just do something else, but you stuck it through. Skylar, you said you had a 1 or 2 times there. You want to share one of those?
Yeah, I mean, man, there's been quite a few, I would say, for sure. I don't know what would be the most frustrating. I would say endless, right? Like that is growth. That is growth. I'm just trying to think of what would probably be the most frustrating. I would say it seemed to be that a lot of the stuff earlier on was significantly more emotional or frustrating, because it was just so much more drastic or life changing to me at the time. Now those problems, you get hardened or conditioned or whatever you want to say, right? You build this. It's 10 times harder than you ever think it's gonna be, right? But I would say early on, one of the probably hardest struggles I had. I mean, this is early on. I moved someone from the southern states. I mean, like way down south, like pretty far across the country, that had experience, that had the thing. And I think that might have been like one of my, like, it was a breaking point for me, right? You know, where it was like, man, I paid this guy really good money. I moved him across the country. I got him here. I did the thing. And I showed up to a job once and my guys were sitting on the curb. And I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we don't know how to use the saw. And I was like, so why isn't he helping you? They were like, he won't come out of his truck. He's talking on the phone. And this was just like over and over and over again that I never knew about. And this was like, I was betting my dollars or betting a lot, on this individual. And it was definitely like throw in the towel type of moment. I mean, there's been all types of stuff. Like I had a set of employees, well, not a set. I had a employee steal my motorcycle out of my shop. My motorcycle sits in my business shop. He stole it one night, took it on a joyride. I got called while I was at the county fair. I had two guys on site, pissed drunk that they were working, like showed up, had no idea. I mean, I've had people steal countless amounts of money, like, right? Like they're taking payment from customers and invoices were going missing. I mean, like if it's possible, it has probably happened, but those are the costs of doing business. Those are the costs of growing quickly. Those are the costs of being, a delegator, right? I'm a pretty hands off. I am a big delegator. I very much am plug somebody in and run with it. And I trust people a lot. But it's all essential learning lessons, right? It's things we go through. I would almost say there's probably not a learning lesson that I haven't had, right? Like Matt, I get it. I get the hose stuff. I mean, again, I told you about the truck completely covered in sealer. I get the truck catching on fire. We had a set of batteries on a cab over truck. My batteries caught on fire. So now those batteries sit under my cab next to my motor, and it's not just a rear, right? Like, all of those things going down the highway. Like, I get it. Like if it's possible, it's probably happened at this point. So. I definitely am on the side of like, I love to share the insights, anymore, right? Like I don't like the war stories are war stories, but it's the overcoming of those war stories and it's the pouring into others of like, how did you do this? How did you overcome it? Right? Like that's my passion because I'm not saying I've experienced it all, but it's been a journey.
So let's just use the example, the one where your guys on the phone, your guys are sitting on the curb. What's going through your mind and what made you move past that space? What made you move and continue forward after that?
So that 100%, like now is, significantly different than then, but that like I blew my lid at that time, right? Like I was on 9,000, right? Like if he made the wrong move, I might have fought him. Like I was that mad. But it was just repetitive stuff over and over. And it definitely was like a sense of like hopelessness though, right? Of like it was a big bet for me, right? And it was one that I was like, oh, I can't get this wrong. And I spent a ton of money to do it and money that I didn't have. And, there was, I didn't have the money to gamble and I gambled it and I was wrong. But, it was those those times where it's like, you go back and you bootstrap it. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing is most people think like the decisions they make are irreversible or they're going to get made fun of. Like if you don't die, it doesn't matter, right? Like it really doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, maybe your ego gets in the way, maybe like, oh, your feelings are hurt or whatever it is. And you think you're too cool to pick up a broom or a wand or whatever again, right? Like it's not the case. If you want to win, like you got to go back out. And that was my reality, right? Like I was semi-passive. I was trying to like, continue to grow and push. And I had to get right back in the mix with the guys for a little while till I figured that out. And sometimes those seasons aren't just small seasons. Sometimes it's months or years, right? Like that, it happens. And you kind of learn and shape and mold. And I always, I would say my biggest experience and my biggest learning lesson from the struggles was I always went and got the fire extinguisher to Matt's point and put out the fire instead of saying, how do I prevent fires or how do I show up prepared? Or what is the life that I truly desire to live, right? Those were my biggest learning lessons from the learning lesson. And it took me years to do it. And I still have some firefighting that I do. But like, I eventually started saying, how do I build the model where this doesn't affect my reality, right? And that was probably biggest changing point from the learning lessons that have compounded, because again, the learning lessons are so hard in the moment. But when you take a lot of those hard learning lessons and you can take a step back and, look at everything from 100,000 foot view, like that is truly the way. And again, I'm getting really deep and philosophical here, but it's just like, start with the life you want to build. Start with the 18-month plan. If life is perfect in 18 months, what are you doing? How does it look? Write it down, and then now build the business that supersedes that, right? Instead of just build the business.
So when you relate back, when you kind of, recollect back to that moment, did you have an 18-month plan? Did you have your why written? Did you have a target or a goal you were shooting for at that point?
No, and that was the problem. That's why it was also reactionary, right? Like I didn't, and I was building a model to build. I mean, again, my situation is I don't want to say different, but semi-different of like, I started really backwards, right? You know what I mean? Like guys grab a, $25,000 rig and they're like, oh my gosh, right? Like I have so much to pay, like started with $1.2 million worth of debt, right? Like it was a big payment. So it was just like, I had to build. And that's all it was like anybody that was willing to hack through the jungle with me, quote unquote, right? Like I stuck by my side and said, we need to go that way because we got money to pay. And I didn't think about what do I want out of this? I just thought about how do I not have this? How do I make this payment?
I'm going to ask this to the group as well. I definitely want some feedback on yours as well, Skylar, but how would you say your why has developed over time? And then maybe, what caused those changes in your developed why, or your reason for moving forward in your business, or what your goals changed to be? Anybody? Anybody got a why that's changed since you started? Anybody got a why that changed since you started working with Asphalt Kingdom, doing this business, whatever that looks like for you? Nothing changed? Everybody's just going exactly the way it's supposed to be going. So you didn't hit the 10,000 or the 50,000, and then now you're shooting for 100,000 or $1 million. What is, Nick, go for it.
Well, I think that's a tough question to answer, but when I first started out, I was reaching out and working with Addie with some resources and materials, and then the relationship that we built over the phone was fantastic, and the trust also. And I think what's really elevated my why from that initial why was I really appreciate these roundtables and the camaraderie that is going on that's shared, and the candidness and openness and transparency. And that, for me, that helps with confidence, and it helps with assurance that there's always somebody there that I can reach out and touch and get feedback on. And it reminds me of I was a high school coach, football and baseball, and we tried to build a strong culture of interdependency. And I see that with this roundtable and with AK Dash. So I guess that's a PR announcement or advertisement, but it's reality for me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Nick. Yeah, I agree with you. Having a place where you can come and get what you need, information wise, coaching wise, just tips, even just being, if you just want to be energized on a Wednesday, it's a perfect place for you. Perfect. Michael, let's change.
Yeah, so everything, and it keeps changing. It keeps growing. So we had an 18th month vision, and we had wrote it down, went and got an Airbnb, spent the weekend out there coming up with some stuff. But sure, wasn't 100% sure how it was going to work or how it was going to happen. We were just going to press into it and see it happen. And that's a lot of what I've been doing. But now I'm starting to get a better idea. I'm starting to be able to see further away and make plans and adapt and change and build relationships. You know what I mean? And that's a big one of the most important parts that I'm learning throughout this whole process is building the correct and proper relationships and having the right people on your team. So my how and why is still evolving. I got a, a version of how I want it to be, but the more I get into it, the more I see I was shortchanging myself. You know what I mean? Like Scott has said, reach for more, want more, do more, grow more. You know what I mean? And have the systems and processes in places and be able to overcome these struggles. So mine's kind of always evolving. And I'm probably not going to hit my targets or my goals. But you know what? I set them kind of high because if I don't reach them, at least I'm trying. You know what I mean? Instead of setting them real low and barely getting there and saying, "Oh well, I did that." You know what I mean? So I don't know if that answers your question any, but
It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And setting goals, let's say your 18-month goals, you're targeting something specific. What I believe you mentioned earlier was you're being held accountable to specific tasks that are supposed to generate and either exceed, meet or exceed those targets, correct? So if you stay on your daily, weekly, and monthly task, you should hit your 18-month task if you've got it set up correctly. Am I right? Thumbs up on that one. Fantastic. Good deal. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Dylan.
I would say that my why has changed over the course of the past year and a half. I was really attracted to getting into this because the opportunity of there no ceiling, right? No cap on how much money you can really bring in from this. But I actually had a call with Cohen earlier today, and I was telling him the most rewarding part of it is the camaraderie aspect and how we're essentially growing together. Like it really is a relationship where both sides are benefiting. So just being able to be a part of, forget the symbiotic, that's what it's called, the symbiotic relationship. That rewarding feeling is proof to me that that's now my new why.
I love it. That's fantastic. So I'm gonna ask one more question here, and then we'll get into any answers and questions that you guys might have, so we can answer those. But my last question is, if you were to inspire somebody else to find out their why, what advice would you give that person? I know some of these questions seem really big, and they're not. They can be very simple. It can be your kid, it could be your friend or your neighbor or whatever. But what would you say about your why? So if I've been listening for this call to the gentlemen that have shared, what I've noticed is that typically your why is what drives you to start. It's what drives you to stay. It's what drives you through hard times. It develops and changes over time, but typically it's just growing bigger and bigger. There's just more targets that you're around, going forward with. So if you were to inspire someone else to find their why, what would your advice to them be? Anybody? Yes, Matthew.
Probably for me, I would explain to them that start off smaller until you have the cash flow to be able to get into a bigger truck or a bigger tank or something like that. Just because having a lot of overhead, it definitely kills your profits. And we have 6 months to seal coat. At least we do here. And then after that, you have to find other sources of revenue to survive, or to pay your bills. So I guess that's basically what I would tell a new person.
Let's start.
Like that, so.
But just start. Get going, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. The idea of beginning something where you're actually just trying to get the steps to move forward. I've found, and I've obviously been here probably about 2.5 years, is I find that people get stuck in this analysis paralysis feeling where they just can't start anything. They're just stuck thinking about all the what ifs. unless you actually light a fire under your own butt and get moving, doing something, take the steps, start something, get on a call like this, get some inspiration from people that do. That don't say, but they do, right? You're going to get much more of that why behind you, starting to figure out how to deal with your own. Yes, Mr. Winley. You're on mute, brother.
Mine would be, don't let the fear paralyze you, like you had just said, and not do anything. Because if you're sitting there in inaction, the answer is always going to be no. If you have to wait till you have it all figured out, like I thought I had to, then you're going to be missing opportunities. It's when you start getting out there and doing the things that you want to do, believing in yourself, trusting the process, surrounding yourself with a good core group of people. Like right here, right now, all these people want to see everybody here succeed. And there's many guys on here I know I could call or reach out to, and they would take the time to help me through a process or a problem. And some of them already have. So just saying, there's people here, people want to help you. There's help out there. But until we start going through some of the processes and start going through the struggles and getting some of the victories, we're going to be sitting there in fear thinking, oh, I can't do this. I need to know all the answers. Well, there's people out there that want to help you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else want to add to that? All right, we're about 17 minutes from the top of the hour. So I thought we would wrap the next 15 minutes up with any questions that you guys came to the round table with this week. Anybody got a question they want an answer to? Don't be shy. Yes, sir. Luke, you're up, brother.
All right. How are you?
Fantastic.
I've been easing my way into getting more parking lots and driveways and stuff like that. I've been doing a lot of driveways recently, residential driveways. This Sunday I have my first parking lot that we're doing. I'm really confident because I've done line striping jobs. I've done a lot of driveways where, I've sprayed, so I'm really confident with it. But next year, I built a pressure washing company in the last year, to 6 figures in the last like 4 months this year so far. So I'm wondering if I put the same steps into asphalt. Like my next truck is going to be wrapped for asphalt. I'm going to be pushing it more. Is that the way to get more jobs doing this? I mean, the only reason I got this job is because I've been working alongside a contractor and he's helping me get some of these jobs. But I don't always want to rely on him. Like next year, I want to fill the truck the same way I'm filling the truck for other stuff, So what's the best way to get more of these jobs? Is it just getting out there? And I mean, I think the truck wrap would help a lot. What do you think? Or no?
Good question. Scott, you got an answer for that one? Did you notice any difference before you wrapped your truck?
Yeah, for sure. Brand is probably one of your biggest investments, but I would say just don't do it cheap, right? Do it right in the beginning because it is literally everything about the brand. And like the brand will sell if you do it right. It's just it comes back to the pre-planning more than the execution, right? You should be spending more time pre-planning the brand, the name, the identity of it, what it looks like, what your ideal clientele is. It sounds all crazy and foo-foo, but like I mean you can spend a ton of time doing these things, right? But like and I'm not saying you need to go spend all this crazy money because you can sink a lot of cash into doing it. But like it needs to be thoughtful, right? It can't just be slapped on the side of a truck because everybody is slapped on the side of a truck. So just like I guess my words of encouragement is really set yourself apart, really pick something different, bold, easy to convey, and something that's trustworthy. And if you do the wrap, again, just make sure it's cohesive to the brand and what you want to represent.
Sure. And that's the best way you've seen get more business, basically the truck wrap. And then I guess good work, right?
Yeah, I mean, do good work. You know, if you're not, you say you're doing a lot of residential driveways. If you're not putting yard signs out at the end of every residential driveway, like you're really shortchanging yourself. Like you'll probably get more work off of the yard signs than you will your truck wrap, to be honest. But like, it, you know, those 100% are like one of your biggest factors in the residential world. Like, I mean, there's more, right? There, you know, you got to have good customer experience, the brand journey, the wrap truck at the end while you're doing the work helps, and then you put the yard sign out, and then you leave the aftercare instructions, and then you door knock the neighbors' houses while you're there, and you say, hey, by the way, this is Mrs. Jones over here. You see how nice her driveway looks? Yeah, we just did that. Are you interested? I'm actually, you know, you could really like, you can value sell of like, I don't have to actually charge you a service fee since I'm here right now. So it brings your price from here to here. Are you looking to get yours looking nice like hers today? And typically, or, you know, if someone already trusted you in the beginning, right? Like they're saying, yeah, do it. Literally, when you're handing them the invoice, be like, hey, could you refer me to a couple neighbors if you don't mind? And typically we train our guys to ask for an outlandish number. Like, could you refer us to 15 neighbors? And they're like, I don't got 15, but I know Miss Susie and Mr. John across the street. Great. Could you call them for me? And typically they call and they're like, hey, this, you know, nice young man's here. By the way, are you looking to get your driveway done? And they're like, how much? You throw a quote and like, they're like, yeah, why not? And it just, you know, there's times where we can get 15, 20 of those in a row, one after another. But again, it's the customer journey, it's an experience. Like, do you show up and do you look like when you roll up to Mrs. Smith's house, right? Like, do you look like you should be there, or is she going, I don't know how this is going to turn out?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I feel like if I follow the same steps, same procedure like you just been saying with what I've been doing and just pushing into asphalt, I think
Yeah.
I'll be fine. Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Good question, brother.
And
There's obviously
prospectively too, right? I would say prospectively, like we still are like, you know, it's not the driver of our business whatsoever, but like we still have a very large residential sector. Like we're already like 400 and some homes in for the year. We'll do another 400 by the end of the year. So like still very, very large. So there is, you know, a lot of people don't know how to master that game, but if you do those simple things, like it can really go.
Okay. Thank you.
awesome. Thanks for the feedback, Skylar. All right. I can't see you, Nathan, but I can see your hand up. What's your question, brother?
Ooh, there we go. Hey,
There
what's
he
going
is.
on, fellas?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I had a question. So like this 7-Eleven down by my other job, they just got their lot sprayed and ooh, it's bad. Like they did this fire lane around the perimeter, but like it just, I mean, it looks like someone was on acid when they did it. I mean, it is so squiggly and so screwed up. I don't know if the guy's lever got stuck or what on full throttle, full open, and he just didn't stop. But they were asking because the lady knows that I do line strip. And she's like, how do you remove this? And it's on concrete, you know, gray concrete, and it's the entire perimeter of the entire building. I mean, all the way around the store from both entrances. So I was like, she just asked me this the other day, so I haven't seen her since, but I've been looking at it and it's like, yeah, you could use this and a scrub brush or this and that. And it's like, you ain't scrubbing up no 2,000 feet of that. Is there a type of
Dustless
machine
blast.
or
Yeah.
blaster that doesn't damage pavement?
Dustless blast.
What was that?
Dustless blasting.
Dustless blasting?
Yeah.
How much is one of those, how much is one
I
of those?
I wouldn't even rent it. Find a guy that's going to do it. They're going to do it way cheaper. Like I think I shared this story a couple weeks back. Like the rental, like you got to buy a skid of media. A skid of media is like $800 to $1,000. They're gonna charge you $800 to rent it. You're gonna have $2,000 wrapped up into it. And like we just had a job that would have cost us $2,000 plus two guys full day. That a guy came out and did it, you know, in a half day for like $950. Like.
Oh, that's
Just
not.
find a good guy that does it day in and day out and mark it up, you know, whatever percent that you want to make margin on and just send it. Like that is 100%
So
our
Skylar,
experience with dustless
have you
blasting.
ever like rocked like the soda blasters or anything like that? Like Is that a service you guys offer? Because I know you guys do a lot of
Nope.
everything.
Nope. So we use performance partners for that as well. Same thing. Like it's typically in that same realm, right? Like they're just putting different media in the same blaster is all it is. They're gonna use glass. They're gonna use iron ore. They're gonna use the soda blast. They use corn cob. It just depends on the setting, but it's typically same machine. It's just large compressor in the blaster and just different media.
So the smart thing to do would be to kind of go offer them find a company that does it, offer them the service, like factor in kind of subcontract and then respray myself.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
something like that.
100% what I would do.
Because I didn't want to get into buying
You're just
equipment
a problem.
and all that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like if you're not working with it every day, like there's pressure pots, there's hoses and whips and tips and all this other stuff, right? Like it just be the problem solver. Tell the client, yeah, we can 100% take care of it. Find the guy that's going to take care of it. He's going to charge you $1,000. You're going to charge the client $1,200. You're going to come back and restripe it. You're going to put it all on one quote sheet, invoice, whatever, and you're going to say, here's the solution to your problem. They're going to say, great, thanks so much. I don't got to go deal with 100 people, and you're going to make your money like 100%.
That's what I was thinking about. Thank you, Skylar.
Yep.
Nathan, I was thinking one more thing just to add into that. If you can't find a guy that does that, whatever that other stuff was you guys were talking about, I know there's something called a laser cleaning tool that you can get. If you find a guy locally that does laser cleaning, they can do the same thing on concrete, remove paint, whatever. So that's just another option.
And that doesn't cause any like etching or scarification on the concrete surface?
No, they do it on old rock buildings where you have a nice old ancient stone. They can clean that stuff off too. So no, it's good.
Nice. Thank you.
I have a hot box on my pressure washing trailer, and believe it or not, it kind of, if you're doing it on concrete, it rips up the paint. So it doesn't leave, too much. If you do it on concrete, it doesn't leave any, scarring to the pavement. So it's a really cheap option. I made a mistake once and I had to fix it with that. So it's literally just a hop. I mean, if you ever run something else, I don't know if anybody else has tried that, but something I ran into and I had to do one time. And it worked for me.
Fantastic. Great question, Nathan. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Cool. Anybody else got another question? Got another time for at least one or two here. How you doing, Ruthie? You looking awesome. Soaking it in, eh? Right on. Matt, looks good to see you on today. Hopefully you're coming from a nice big job. You got any wins to share with us?
We're doing a truck yard right now that we have to start at 5 o'clock at night, work through the night. Well, till midnight anyway. It's about, can't remember if this one was 200,000 square feet. So we're just had to break it up into 3 sections, just because of the trucks are running 24/7. So the joys of working with those big contracts, you have to be flexible, but make sure you charge for it. Make it worth your while.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations, brother. That's awesome. You're just heading out there then, I guess, eh?
Yeah, we're just heading down. Well, I've got my crews already down there. We're just driving down there to check on them, make sure they get started all right.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, no problem.
You have anything to add to that last one, or is that pretty much, I saw you thumbing up on it, so I'm assuming you agree.
No, I think what Skylar said, the dust blasting. I have a guy that does dust blasting for me as one of my performance partners. You also get, a pressure washer guy. It's tempting to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever and buy a pressure washer and say, I'm going to do this. And then when you're into it 2-3 days and it's just not working out, it just is not worth it. So just like Skylar said, find somebody that knows, that's their business. And those dust blasters have become more popular. You might have to find somebody that does like mobile dust blasting, and they're normally doing auto repair. They go out and dust blast car frames and stuff like that. Just say, hey, I want you to come and, if they haven't ever done it, just say, hey, can you come and test this and see if it works? If it does, then give me a price, and I'll put the package together and be that contractor for that store. So anyway, that's what I would recommend on it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for the feedback, brother.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else have a question? Anything, absolutely anything.
I have a question.
Yeah, let's go, Hank.
I've been trying to figure out how to raise my hand. Okay. So thinking about other avenues to raise income, like during the off seasons, what have you, whatnot. Do you think cleaning pavers is too far out of the lane?
Pavers, cleaning pavers, you said?
Yeah, doing the service of cleaning pavers or treating pavers.
So what we like to do with them personally is we like to put the real liability side on the guys that do it all day of the pressure washer, right? And so like typically we'll get someone to come out and actually clean them, but we like to seal them. Typically a little bit of a different, sealing temperature. You can get a little bit colder, down to the 40s and those type of thing. So you get someone to come out and pressure wash them. Same thing, right? By the time you're there all day hooking up with a surface cleaner, the whole deal, the guy with the rig is all set up. He's going to put his quick connects together, be in and out of there, spraying those things pretty quick. And typically, pressure washing is a service that isn't super expensive, but packaging it together as a full service of pressure washing it and then sealing them or maintaining them, whatever, or regrouting them becomes a really expensive service because it's turnkey. So, that is our preferred method is we let the pressure washer do the pressure washing. We come out, we'll regrout them, we'll seal them, we'll do things like that.
That help you a lot?
Awesome. Thank you.
And like drastic price increase, right? Where like the guys are, again, like average industry average, whatever you want to say, 10 to 70 cents a square foot. 10 is super low. I don't even want to say that, but like really, it shouldn't be that low, but it's the reality of it. I'm giving you a super broad range, but like the, paver maintenance and paver treatments, like in the dollars, $2-3 a square. So, a lot of money to be made there.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. All right, we're hitting 6 or not, it's 6 my time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So if nobody has another question, we're gonna hop off here. Anybody have another one just before we go? We're good. So just so you know, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for jumping on here each week. It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys today. I've learned stuff. I hope you guys learned some stuff. Anybody learn anything today? Thank you. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys back here next week. Same time, same place at the Asphalt Kingdom Roundtable. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a great evening.